Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lights Out League Racing Season 26, Race 10, and we are at the Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg in Austria, famous for Arnie Schwarzenegger, chill out, it's famous for the Wiener Schnitzel, it's famous for Mozart, and famous for the Alps, which actually covers 62% of the country if you're into that sort of thing. But we're also famous for the visit of Lights Out League Racing in F1. And it's going to be an absolute cracker. Hello to Callum, hello to Phil. We're going to put an absolute show. It's good to see everybody joining us for this evening. We've got 13 drivers, but it is the final round of the Champions League. If anyone's interested, Aston Villa already 2-0 against Celtic because they are shite. We have had Amity, the new crowned championship holder, won last week at Vegas, and in that solidifying his championship. Well done to him, and I think the whole league do congratulate him and beyond. I'll do my best to those that are into the Champions League have probably put an 18-fold ACCA on. I've put a cheeky one on. If so, I'm going to have a few grand in my bank. And speaking of the bank, we're going to the bank and watching Theo on a hot lap as he runs down to turn one. Goes far wide left as possible, and you want to turn in late to get that rotation and great exit out of the corner. Open up the DRS on the run uphill, just past this little kink turn 2 and to the hairpin of turn 3, where there's going to be a few overtaking opportunities. Again, you want a great exit off the corner, otherwise you're going to be hampered by the cars behind. DRS is open as we start the slalom down sector 2 around turn 4, where it's a wide hairpin where we might see 1 or 2 switchbacks. We'll never know. Around to the turns 5 and 6, where 5 and 6, where it's the only 2 real left-handers of the track. Run down to turn 9, again downhill. You don't want to brake here, you want to go flat out as much as possible. Don't go too wide or you will invalidate. Don't cut the corner of the inside too much. Open up DRS, and he crosses the line with a 104 flat, which I think we're going to get until maybe the mid 103s. And these times will be popping in. Sidegate Picnic on a mediums with a 104.7, so 7/10 off so far. Amadee coming round for his first flying lap, going P2 for now with a 104.1. Katamis comes in with 105.2, so I think there's a bit of time to find for him. Phil Skills crosses for his first flying lap, 104.2. We've got Callum, who potentially could have challenged for the championship, but he missed a good handful of races when he was up in Florida. As he comes round for his first flying lap and eclipses his teammates, go top of the leaderboard with 103.9 and the first one into the 103s. Katz comes over and is setting his first flying lap now. The caps locks come in at provisional P5 with a 104.6. Terry's P7 105 flat. And Dan setting a time on the intermediates. Marty coming in on the mediums as well, 105.1, so he's going to have a bit of time in the bank as well. I'll have a check on Katzen in the Red Bull. Red Bull's at their home race, of course. Look, eyeing up those podium positions. Picnic in the sister Red Bull has had a really good run of form. And has got 3 podiums out of the last 4. Getting a P3 in Texas and Vegas. He must love America. And then a P2 in Brazil. As he crosses the line and goes up just behind his teammate. P7 with a 105 flat. And we've got Lennon joining us for the first time. A senior member of Lights Out League Racing. been in the Discord for quite a while. It's good to see him back on track. He's been out of F1 and league racing for a while. So it'd be interesting to see where he can. And he's invalidated, so he's not going to set himself a time. Let's jump on with Metal Mike, who's managed to join us. He was potentially banned. He's in the Kick Sauber, but he's actually part of the Visa RB, so his points will go towards the Visa RB. I think he's just he's managed to jump in the Discord and looking a little bit different tonight. He's had a paint job. He's had a special paint job for Austria. Fluorescent green. Shrek Seaman. And the Shrek Seaman crosses the line and goes above Dan Morris on those inters with a 107.8. A bit of time flying for Metal Mike, but gets himself a time on the board. He's validated that one. Caps lock. Is he doing one or two more laps on these tyres as you're going into it? So he's going into the pits. Martin's doing some more laps. 10th quicker on his previous lap. It's just exactly 100th behind Cats. John Cruz is just starting another hot lap. Very, very tight. With it being such a short lap, it's very tight. Arsenal 1-0 up. It's all to play for. I'd absolutely love it if PSG or City get knocked out. I love it. I'd absolutely love it. Sidegate's coming downhill down to turn 4. Lovely line. A little bit of wiggle on the exit. He's still going strong. Going to take as much speed through these left-handers. Pretty much like a toboggan ride. Nearly 3/10 up, which could get him, with it being so tight, if he carries on at this pace, up to P7. Big jump from Cygate. Pushing the limits around the final corner. And does go up to P7, 104.7. So nearly up to P6 ahead of Picnic. And the Arsenal goal is disallowed. Great show there from Cygate. And his teammate just slots in behind him as well. Only 2 thousandths in it between the two McLaren drivers. Now to talk about an equal team. Woo! Mike's not improving there. Theo's doing then. Currently just exactly a 10th behind his teammate. Currently in P2. Can he get himself onto pole? Provisional pole. Crosses the line. He does with a 103.7, so a couple of tenths in it. And gets himself up. Catherine's invalidated, so he's not going to improve either. So, and he's losing a bit of traction as he goes in the gravel. Stewards aren't going to like him. He's going to pretending to be a rake. Jump on with Picnic, see if he can breathe. Currently just climbing past the hairpin of turn 3. This track used to be the Österreichring, which originated in 1969. And the first Grand Prix was actually held in 1970. And then the track known today as the Red Bull Ring, more or less was created in the winter of 1995-96. We wanted in a track which was a lot more shorter and more modern, and which was when it was converted as the A1 ring. And he's invalidated, he's not going to improve. That's a shame for him, it looks like he's going well. Amberdy just a 10th up at the moment, which will get him potentially, if he can keep going, just above Callum, but he's invalidated. Not going to improve. Wow, wow, wow. Who's we got next coming round? Caps lock. 10th and a half up. Still needs to find another 2.5 tenths to get above Phil Skills. He improves his time with a 4:03, but not his position. But good run from Katzloff. Katz coming out on his out lap. What can Callum do? 3/10 up, so he'll be into the 106s. He was challenged to do a no line. He's got corners only still. If he wasn't in a farmyard, he'll be clocking as he crosses the line and takes provisional pole with a 103.678. So just over a tenth ahead of his teammate. And the one to beat. Skills just starting his flying lap. And who we got next? Mercedes. Dan Morris. Starting his as well on this set of dry softs. He's coming out on that lap, so invalidated and went off on his last run. Target coming out for an out lap, starting his flying lap. As Katz gets himself up to P9. The 104.8. So we'll jump on with Phil Skills and see what he can do as he's coming around the final corner. Can he improve and get himself onto the podium position? Provisional P3 above Ahmadi with a 104 flat. He'll be happy with that. Lennon crossing the line up to P6, 104.6. So finding his pre-form. What can Marty Style do? He's up to P8 with a 104.7. He's got a few fastest laps to his name. He's just coming round now. Around the final corner. Some scores flying in the Champions League into 2-0. PSG 2-0. Katamis does not improve. Still P13 with a 104.9. I wonder if he's making a few mistakes or is being hampered by his setup. I'll only know. We're in Austria, of course. Austria. It's the naughty Austrians. Fun fact of Austria. It has the oldest zoo in the world. Founded in 1752. It's home to more than 700 species. Fun facts. We love our fun facts. Academy's purple sector 1, but it hasn't equated to the rest of his lap. I don't think he's going to improve. He's going into the pits and he's drifted around the corner, pushing the limits. He knows he's got to get in and out again. That was funny. Funny. We're in London, aren't we? He's just slightly ahead of his fastest time so far, which would get him above Seigate. And he's just behind. It's very tight. Marty and Pitnick in the 7s and Lennon in the 6s. So just got to find a little bit more time. Coming around the end of sector 2. He's still pretty much equal to his previous lap. So can he find a little bit more time in these last final couple of corners? It's going to be tight in this midfield, I tell you. As he crosses the line, and he does get himself into 147.39 and up to P7. So there's only 600ths in it between P7 and P10. And I'd say only about 3.5 tenths in between P6 and P13. Close encounters. Katzloff comes round, crosses the line. Is that his final lap? Has he gone early? Mike jumps into the pits. See what Ahmadi can do then. Is this his final flying lap? I don't think he'll have enough time to jump into it. No, he's not on a lap at the moment. So he's doing a warm down and then going again. What we're going to do, what we're going to see is a load of cars just coming out any time now to set their final lap. Caps lock. No, he's not going, so we'll jump on with Cygate then, who's setting. He's the first one to set his final flying lap of the session. And all you need, if you get a couple of tenths, you're up to P6, my mate. You can do it, push. DRS is open like a letterbox, you've got mail. Cygate, of course, has had his generally midfield crowd, got himself P4 at Monza with great strategy calls. He's got some hidden pace and he's 10th and a half up currently, which would get him up to P7. He's just got a couple of final corners to do. Can he find that extra half a tenth? Get him up to P6. Crosses the line. He does with a 1:04.561. Fantastic lap there from Cygate. P6 for him. Katames is coming round to set his final flying lap. Be weird for him to start P13, and he will stay P13. He's not going to improve. We've got Lenz doing an out lap. He's doing out lap. It's Ahmadi then. Drifting around the final corner. Bumped over turn 10 a bit too much. And doesn't improve. Stays P3. As we'll see what Marty can do. Currently P10. Will stay P10. He's made a mistake, so unless he's going for another lap. Has he got enough fuel in his car? Time will tell. Lennon's invalidated. So he's not going to go any higher than P7. What can Dan do? He's currently P12, up to P8 for him, behind his teammate. 1:04.6. So it's just showing out that midfield crowd. Just great lap that Cygate's done. Katame's coming round again. Can he improve? Can he improve? He's a podium sitter this season, up to P6 behind his teammate. 1:04.5, so he pulled out the bag last minute. As Callum sets a faster lap, 1:03.5. Phil Skills next across the line. And goes up to P3, ahead of Ahmadi with a 1:03.9. Just what was that, 400ths ahead. Lennon's down on his time. Marty gets himself up to P7, so pulled out the bag as well for him. 1:04.4. That midfield is so bunched up. From P6 down to P13. It's tighter than a cat's arsehole. And Callum gets himself another podium for the season. He's got quite a few actually, I think, this season, if I remember rightly. He's got 5, so he's leading the way on podium positions and now makes it 6. So good job from him. Imagine what he could do if he had no line on. Hey! Baba Frick! As Callum takes that pole, his teammate joins him on the front row. Haas driver showing some great form. Phil Skills P3 and Ahmadi P4. Picnic and Catslock round off the third row. Marty P7, Katames P8, Cygate P9. Lennon round off top 10. Good to see him on his debut. Dan Morris P11, Terry's P12, Cats 13, Metal Mike at the rear, and we'll watch the carnage unfold. Hopefully not too much carnage. Our drivers now. So it was dry quali. What will the race be like? It's looking dry now, but it could change. We are located in the Styrian Mountains in the idyllic backdrop. Look at those trees. Look at that forest. It's lovely. I love it. And but so the weather could change. Drivers now sorting out their strategies, their fuel loads. Deciding what tyre to start on. For me, if it's a dry race, I'd do medium to hards. You only want the one stop. It's about 20.5-second pit stop. But there is a 50% chance of a safety car, so you've got to take that in mind. And who's in the chat, who do you reckon is going to be winning this? Who's it going to go down to? I'm going to go for Theo to get his first official on paper at the end of Stewart's win. And I think Callum's going to get P2. And I think Armadi's just going to go nice and easy. And I think Phil Skills, let's get him P3, shall we? Let's have a look at everyone's strategies then. As both the Haas drivers and Dan Morris all going on the alternate strategy. Katami's going on the fucking bullet train strategy like he always does, starting on the stops. It didn't end well for his teammate last week. Katami's trying to push and ended up tapping his teammate, and Catslock was out on turn 5 in Vegas, which is unfortunate, but it's sometimes the way the cookie crumbles. Rest of the grids decided to start on the mediums. It's what I would do, but there's a reason why I'm commentating and not racing. These guys are a lot better than me. So Callum leads us around, and we'll start at the front. Theo joining him on the front row. Phil Skills P3, Damadi P4, Picnic P5, Catslock 6, Marty P7, Captain's 8, Sygate and Lennon round off the top 10. Damo's right behind his teammate Terry's P12. I think he's probably a bit disappointed with that. Cat's P13 and Metal Mike in the wrong car at the back. It is a 4.3 kilometre circuit clockwise, 10 corners, 7 to the right, 3 to the left, with the 3 DRS zones all down the main straights. And so that does mean we're going to see plenty of overtaking opportunities. Callum now just slowing down a little bit so he doesn't sit on the grid waiting too long. It is a 233 metre run down to pole front to turn 1, and it's Liverpool 1-0. I think Lennon will be jumping for joy. But Liverpool are through, of course, and playing a weakened team. I wonder who scored. Probably Gakpo's on form, isn't he? There's the drivers getting themselves into the grid slot. There's a driver doing a mega weave. It looks like it's Cats. As everybody is sitting in, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's lights out. And away we go. I can't see because we're miles away. There we go. As Phil Skills has managed to break and get a better launch off the line from Theo. And Theo just bunched on the inside of turn 1 and is overtaken by Armadi as well. No major movers as such as Dan and Terry's just spot jostling for position. The biggest loser is Theo, as he's under threat now from Picnic into turn 3, but looks like everyone's made it through untarnished. Sygate just a little bit of a tap there as Cats does get past. As Armadi now up past Callum as well, so making use of those medium tyres, those hard tyres waiting to get switched on. Cats just getting ahead of Dan Morris in the Mercedes. Dan, of course, on the hards as well, so he's going to, this race will come to him later as he's looking on the inside. Was that Lennon on the inside of Katami's? Great defence there from Lennon as Katami's is pushing hard. Katami's side by side with Sygate. Sygate on the other side of turn 9. Brave. And someone's in the pits already. We've got a couple. Marty and Katami's. Have they both got damage? It's a wing change there for Marty, so he does have damage. And it's just tyre change from Katami's, so Katami's doing the softs and hards to the end. It's not the first time we've seen him do that. And it'll be interesting to see how these two get on as the race unfolds. Marty getting, I think, caught up maybe with Cygate in turn 3. And Cygate just in position with Katz. DRS is now enabled into lap 2. Cygate got Dan Morris in his rear view mirror. Dan having a look on the inside of turn 6 and 7. Girona leading Arsenal 1-0. Andy pushing hard. Everyone is still settling in. Catslock has got to try and stay within that DRS to stay with that train. He's there for now. I think Katz has just slightly been dropped from the front 7. As Amadi now up to the lead of the race ahead of Phil Skills. Bit of a lock up there from the Haas. Dan managed to get ahead of Cygate into turn 3. Rudimentary overtake, but will be under threat. As Cygate tries to return the favour. I don't think he's close enough going down to turn 4. Not quite. The Mercedes of Lennon locks up. Yeah, we've got a train down to turn 7. To P7, sorry, and then we've got Katz. The train down to P12. Metal P11, Metal Mike has been broken away from the pack. Had a season best P8 finish last week. Great showing from him. As Amadi setting this pace now. The 106.1. Making fastest lap. Trying to stick with the front 5. He doesn't have DRS now, which means he'll be under threat from Lennon. Amadi just setting this pace and cars behind. Just sticking with for now. Dan Morris looking on the rear end of Katz, but isn't quite close enough yet to overtake. Just binding the time. Terry's and his teammate now in situ. Cygate defending from his teammate. They work together, don't want to jostle two cars and end up dropping out the DRS from these two ahead of them. And then the Haas driver's very, very close to Phil Skills. Picnic doing well as well, as I mentioned earlier. In with the podiums. Anyone going to maybe over Callum right in the gearbox to Phil Skills. And goes side by side up to turn 3. At the inside. Is he close enough to make a move on Amadi? Isn't quite there. Very good driving from those two. As Dan Morris has made a move on Katz as well. Got himself up to P8. Great overtake from Dan. Callum's looking to keep the position, and he does. As far as now sandwiched between the Haas cars. All these are within a shout for a race win or podium. Hatstock now been dropped as Theo's managed to get past. Great overtake there from Theo. Going round turn 6 and 7. You don't see it happen there often. And it's brave as Callum matches side by side with Amadi. As Amadi squeezed slightly on turn 9. He's under threat. He's getting pushed around like a baby in a pram. Round turn 10 from Theo. And that's a brave overtake from Callum. And it shows the great driving between the pair of them and the awareness and giving each other enough space on such a fast corner. And Amadi is screaming past Callum. I think Theo might go through as well, as Callum's under no illusion. As Phil's ends up going a little bit deep. And under threat from Picnic as Catslock and Lennon side by side. Lennon with the DRS and managed to get ahead. Now Catslock up to P6. Again finding his time, utilising the DRS in the correct place. Cygate still ahead of his teammates. Terry's still not managing to make the move. Pushing hard. These hard tyres are switched on now on the inside of turn 9. Managed to make the move on Amadi. And I think Amadi knows not to battle too much. It's a long way to go. We've got 30 laps left. Picnic now looking to make a move on the inside of turn 1. Use of DRS. Great move from Picnic up to P4 on Phil skills. Interesting to see how people's drivers utilise their tyre wear as Amadi back up to P1. The Hasses are side by side. And Callum on the inside just squeezes his teammate slightly, but again, very respectful driver from both. You love to see it. Very experienced, these 4 and 5, sorry. What Lennon and Catstock need to do is try and work together with the DRS to catch up to this bunch ahead. Catstock has got it back ahead of Lennon. And what has happened with these two battling? Dan, Katz and Sygate and Terry's have joined this train for P6. Katz has got himself a track limits penalty, which I think I missed that. He has, so, and I think what will happen is penalties will play their part at the end of the race, and Katz is the first one to get it for this race. But you got to keep going. Callum round the gearbox of Amadi. I think these lot will be just into position as Phil Skills gets himself a track limits coming up around turn 1, and that won't help his chances for a race win, as Callum has managed to get back up to P1. Theo side by side with Amadi. Again, left plenty of space. As on the run down to turn 4, side by side. Amadi on the inside of Callum. Broke late as Theo looks to take an opportunity on the inside of Callum, but got held up by Amadi. We've got a yellow flag. Katamis, I think, going off. Looks like on turn 7 that was. Having a good period of the season. Katamis has got himself a podium this season. They got the P2 in Monza. And it's 1-1 PSV Liverpool. And Catstock has got himself side by side around turn 10. It's very tight and Dan's just ahead. As Katz has lost turn on turn 10. And that's dropped him out of that DRS train now. Metal might get himself a penalty, and Theo up to the lead of the race now. His teammates boxed in behind him, trying to go side by side with Amadi. Amadi will have better traction off the corner and keeps that P2. A bossing battle between this front 5. As Theo getting himself past Callum, following Amadi through. You'd have to say these hard tyre runners, as we watch Katamis go off again, going off the same place around turn 7 and 8. Just pushing it too hard. Ends up hitting the wall. And letting this train past, and now lapped down. He has lapped again. Going back onto the medium, so he must have got some damage. And he's lost an end plate as well, so he's going to have to go in the pits again. Pushing hard. You saw him in quali, how he was drifting on the corners. Maybe his setup's not that great. Theo now back taking the lead of the race. Past Amadi, his teammate follows through as well. Is Picnic close enough to follow through as well? Not quite. Phil has a look on the inside of Picnic. Goes in late. As Katz goes in the pits and gets a wing change as well. And is overtaken by Marty, who's doing well and just running his own race for now on those hards. Can they get him to the end of the race, or is he hoping for a safety car? Kat's now jumping. Katami's now jumping on the softs. The half drivers currently in the lead of this race. This front 5 still going strong. Dan Morris about 3 seconds behind, so they're still keeping pace. As Kat's like getting past Lennon. I think Lennon went a little bit wide coming out of turn 8. And he's lost himself a couple of positions. A couple of errors. And Sygate gets himself onto the track limits list. From McLaren drivers now have dropped from the train and running their own race. Can they think Seigate, what he needs to do is just drop a bit and let his teammate jump into the DRS, and then they can work together and catch this train again. As Amadi and Callum side by side coming out turn 4. Callum is just ahead of Amadi. He's holding him like a wheelbarrow, and that's Katamise out the race. Katamise has lost it on turn 1, and a safety car is out, and that is exactly what Marty needed and Metal Mike needed. Katz is just pit, but I think he'll still be at the back of the train, so this will help the medium runners, not necessarily the hard runners. And Katamise is Theo is in. What's happened with the Haas drivers? I hope Callum hasn't slowed down to let his teammate get a gap. If so, that's not really fair driving, so he can get himself a gap. Everybody's coming in and changing their tyres. I'd have to watch the stream back and see what happened there, but if he's purposely slowed down, that's not deemed as fair, and might see that in the steward's room. I think 1 or 2. Terry's is definitely one who's probably been held up in the pit lane. Lennon as well, probably held up in the pit lane. So everyone has jumped onto the alternate tyres. Marty's coming again to jump on mediums. 24 laps on the mediums might be tight as Katz goes through, and will come out just ahead of Metal Mike, so he'll be happy with that. So Katz now in a better position than it seemed for him. Arsenal 1-all, Villa a 2-all, Liverpool 2-1. It's all kicking off in the Champions League. And it's unfortunately no points academies this week. Arsenal 2-1. So Theo leads the race so far, and Callum is actually down to P4 now, so whatever advantage he seemed to deem to have gained has not come to fruition. He's still got held up in the pit, so it's something to look at, but I don't think he's gained that much of an advantage. If anything, he's lost some position. So Theo currently in the lead of the race. We're on starting lap 13 of 36. Amadi P2. The hard runners now stopped a little bit earlier than expected. Can the medium runners get to the end? It's going to be tight. Are we hoping for another safety car? Will we see any changes to the weather? It's still looking quite bright, so I'll be surprised, but it can change quite quickly. Only the drivers will know. Picnic himself up to P3. Missed the podium. Callum P4. Still skills P5. Won't be happy with that penalty. Or you hoping the ones ahead of him will get a penalty too. Dan Morris up to P6. He'll be happy with that, but here's an ultimate strategy. So can he let those medium tyres last? There's a high chance we're going to see the safety car in this lap. Cat's got P7. And in, as I say that, safety car is in. Lennon Sergey P8, Lennon P9, Terry's P10, Cat's 11, Metal Mike 12, and Marty P13. I think Theo will hold the pack up. We won't know when he's going to go though. It is a short run down to the line, and if you get good exit off turn 9, then it'll hold you in good stead. We've got to wait for the safety car to enter the pits. Man City are losing to Club Bruges. That's fucking hilarious. And you can't overtake until the timeline. Fucking Man City. Man shitty. They got no fans. Has he gone? He's gone. He's caught Amadi napping. It doesn't look like anyone's under threat immediately. Maybe Marty on Metal Mike, Cats on Terry's. Side by side with Terry's in turn 1. Now he just slots back behind again. As Marty does make the move on Metal Mike. I don't think Mike battled that too much. He doesn't want to hamper anyone's race. It's very respectful from him, and we do love him in this league. PSV 2, Liverpool 2. Just fix my screen for some reason. So Theo's still ahead, and Picnic hasn't managed to get his tyres switched on as much as Amadi has, and he needs to stay with Amadi, otherwise he's going to be broken from that DRS as Katz gets himself another track limits. That won't help his position again. Terry's gets one as well. So that middle pack, those penalties are ticking off side by side. Again, turn 9. Great overtake from Marty on the outside of turn 9, and DRS is now enabled. Picnic's what he's going to do, need is Callum to overtake him and pull back in that DRS. As Callum does make that move on the run up to turn 3. And it is a big train, of course, as we are on the first lap, and it looks like Callum doesn't have DRS yet, but he's got the speed to stay within that DRS as Marty and Katz side by side again. On the run down to turn 4, Katz has the aid of DRS, and slightly faster setup by the looks of it. And he's got himself back up to P11. He's still ahead of Amadi. Callum has managed to catch up, but Picnic's tyres are still not switched on, and he's under threat from Phil Skills. He's going to look to try and make a move. Has a look on turn 9, but not quite there. It needs to get within that DRS zone again, and the drivers behind him will be wishing so too. Callum sets up the fastest lap with 1:05.8. P3 now. Dan Morris has dropped caps lock, but Dan Morris now sticking with the front 6 as Phil Skills gets past Picnic. Callum, Theo and Amadi 3 wide into turn 3. And it's all stayed as it is. Theo's still ahead in the lead of the race. Is Callum on the inside of turn 4. As the breakers, Amadi left him just enough room. And Sygate, Katz side by side, left plenty of room. Sygate on the inside of turn 5. Katz has the inside turn 6, and Sygate just slots behind, does not want to end up flying. And speaking of penalties, Callum's pushing hard and gets himself a track limits penalty too. And everyone is in the DRS now, including Dan. So Dan is in the chance, if he can stay within this pack, of the win of this race and a podium position. So it's showing just the great job that him and the drivers above are doing. And he's got himself back in contention. Picnic locking up in turn 1. Now won't help his tyre wear. As Amadi closing in on Theo, but Theo's still ahead. Sygate and Katz battling again, and Sygate does the overtake, goes wide and deep on turn 3, which gives better run off the corner for Lennon as well. And Sygate has lost himself a couple of positions. He's now breaking himself and is under threat from Marty and Katz behind us. Marty makes the overtake and Katz down to turn 4. Great overtake from him with the aid of DRS. Little bit of loss of traction from Katz, but managed to keep it within the white lines. Terry's is sticking with them as well, waiting for the overtake, waiting to make his move. I think I want to be absolutely livid with Man City. They'll have them in the rackers. Losing at home to Club Brugge, my God, you're terrible. This front 6 still going strong. And I think what happens here is all down to how the medium tyres last. Amadi's lights flashing, so he's pushing hard himself. He knows how strong these drivers around him are. As Lennon gets past Katz lock up to P7 of the inside. Sygate closing in on Katz lock as well. Here's Lennon now behind his teammate on the grid as Katz lock makes a move on the outside of turn 4 with the aid of DRS side by side coming out round turn 5, which means Katz lock will have the inside of turn 6. Brave driving by both, but Capslock holds it and keeps P7. Great driving from these pair. And there's a train all the way down to Terry's. Can Lennon make the move? He's had a bit of a look on turn 9. And Seigate goes really wide, and Marty follows him through and goes a little bit wide on turn 9. You don't want to be too many of them. As PSV 3, Liverpool 2 now, just before half time. Phil Skills getting ahead of Callum. Is he under threat from Picnic 2? Lennon making the move, Seigate following through. Absolute like a bullet, Seigate. He's managed to get past Capslock. As Lennon gets himself track limits as well. Joins the club. Seigate up to P8. Capslock lost a couple of positions. Will look to try and retake on Seigate, but has to follow him round. Theo still the leader of the race for now. Amadi, I think, just charging his battery a little. Phil's taking a look on Amadi, but just following round for now. Counting down to P4, where he started the restart. Picnic P5. Seigate getting himself another track limits coming around turn 9. You don't want to be doing that too often, Marmate. As Amadi now looks like he's making a move on Theo down to turn 3 on the inside. Callum on Phil Skills as well. Again, left plenty of room. This is very skilled driving. There's Katz and Marty up to turn 3. There's a little bit of disconnect from Katz there. His car keeps going inside and out. Capslock up to P8 past Seigate. On the inside of turn 4. Lovely move. You love to see it. Simply lovely. Pushing Callum round like manure in a wheelbarrow. Capslock and Lennon. Capslock making a move on Lennon on turn 9. Brave but true. Great overtake from Capslock. You love to see it. Very brave driving. Wheels in the train again up to turn 3. Amadi's managed to get a little bit of connect there with Theo and Phil Skills, I think. And Theo's now down to P5. I think he's still within the train. And we've had a bit of contact as well with Seigate. Capslock, maybe Lennon, as it's 3 wide, going down to turn 4, and Seigate sandwiched a little bit and had to pull out, otherwise he would have lost a wing. As Lennon is now the leader of the train, Capslock behind. Katz is now up to P9, has taken advantage of a couple of errors. Terry's and Marty still watching with the tent. Metal Mike still going strong, almost in the gravel there, but managed to keep it on the track. Briscoe's getting another track limits penalty coming round turn 1. It's his nemesis corner, that. Getting very close to Callum, and Theo get himself back into the lead of the race. Those front 5 just in positions. Katz side by side with Capslock. Capslock on the outside of turn 3, on the run down to turn 4. Will he have the aid of DRS? They both have DRS, and Katz is just ahead for now and keeps the position. P8 with better traction off the corner. Probably a little bit of squirt of DRS too. Dan Morris still sticking with this in this front 6 battle. Managed to avoid little tap, I think, was between Phil Skills and Theo. And still in with a chance of a podium if he keeps it within the white lines. And it will be his first of the season, and a great showing from him. Is anyone going to make a move this lap? We've got a bit of a snake. Phil Skills, can he make the move past Amadi up to P when he does on the inside? Callum not quite close enough yet. He'll Constantinas and the cars behind. For great awareness that they don't bump into each other. Callum looks to make the move and Amadi as well. As Callum on the inside of turn 4, Amadi has managed to get himself back ahead. We've got a yellow flag and it's Metal Mike. Lost it on turn 1. Managed to keep his car going. It doesn't look like he's got any damage. So we're not going to see a safety car, thank goodness for that. Catslock and we've lost the cars. Cats has gone off on turn 4. I think it's a bit of contact maybe. And now he's out of that snake. As Amadi's back in the lead of the race. Callum Knox P2. Phil Skills P3. And then it's as you were. Terry's got himself at P9 now ahead of his teammate. I've been watching and waiting. He's managed to get past Marty and Cygate. And of course Katz, who's lost a bit of position. I wonder how these medium tyres are doing. Still going well for 3 out of the front 6. There's Callum and Amadi side by side. Coming out of turn 3. Amadi was a little bit of wheel contact as Amadi went a little bit wide. As Pickney's got himself up to P3 past Phil Skills. Cygate has got past his teammate now up to P9. Picnic and Phil Skills still going side by side out of turn 4. But Picnic will have P3 for now. Catstock and Lennon having their own little battle. Broken out of DRS with the McLarens behind. And Catstock is the one that's ahead for now. We've got 12 laps to go. We're 2/3 of the way through this race. It's still all to play for. Who's going to win this race? Who's going to be on the podium? Who's going to gain positions from penalties? Turn 1 and run up the hill again as we go up to turn 3. Will Callum make the move? It looks like he does. He has the inside line. And brilliant move with the DRS. Amadi will fight back though with DRS again. Will Callum be under threat from Picnic as well? As Amadi does make that move. Picnic not quite close enough yet as Marty gets himself a penalty as well. He was able to gain some positions. But as got it going wide, I think, on turn 3. Unless he's run a little bit deep. As Terry's in Cygate, stopping position again. Only on 1.5 seconds behind Lennon and Catslot. Can they work together with Marty to get themselves back into that train to make it 5 cars again? Phil's sniffing what Picnic had for breakfast. He's that close. He can smell his bum fumes. Amadi leads us away for lap 26. Callum's a little bit behind. I don't think he's had a good enough exit coming off out of turn 1, and Picnic's got himself up to P2 and he's close enough to get DRS off Amadi as well. Is he close enough to make the move on Amadi? Lennon making the move on Catslock. He's enough move up to turn 3, but we'll keep an eye on Picnic. Isn't close enough quite yet. Is the medium tyres wearing now? Is now the time where the hard runners will capitalise? As Terry's and Cygate battling again. Terry's does stay ahead still. And the McLaren boys battling hard. Picnic needs to stay with Amadi. If Amadi breaks from this DRS, I think we could call it a day. But he's still within DRS, so that's good for this lap. Got DRS again, so he's going to keep closing in. No one close enough to make a move quite yet. Maybe Phil Skills and Callum, but with the aid of DRS, Pitney's getting closing in on Amadi. He's closer than he was on the last lap, but Amadi's got better traction off the corner. So Pitney just needs to follow him down through sector 2. See Amadi pushing hard, his lights flashing, so here's DRS. And his knees harvesting. Katzlock closing in on Lennon and looking in the inside. Our turn 4, great overtake from Katzlock. Having a great battle here with Lennon. These two just in position, the same as the McLaren boys. Marty just watching with intent for now, just trying to... The Sygate's just drifting around turn 6. To keep his car on the road, thank God. And Dan just needs to, as his tyres just worn a little bit too much, needs to stay within this DRS. Just needs a squirt of that DRS to get him back in, as Picnic now makes his move and gets himself up to P1 and the lead of the race in Austria. Lennon retaking the position up to P7 from Katzlock. Amadi under threat from Callum and Phil Skills. And Dan is now, his tyres I think are just wearing thin a bit now. The Haas boys need to stick with these hard runners. The safety car was not their friend. 8 laps to go. I don't know if the weather will play its part. I'll be surprised. It's still looking quite bright, so it's just down to the driver's skill. And of course these as Dan goes wide as well, so there's his podium chances gone for now. And that's unfortunate. He was running such a good race, it was so close. But I think his tyres are just worn now. And the thing is that the drivers behind are still quite close, so if you do a pit stop to go for a fastest lap, they will be hampered. As Amadi retakes the lead of the race. Phil Skills getting himself up to P3 ahead of Callum, but Callum's fighting back. He's got a better exit coming out of turn 3. That's Picnic trying to close on Amadi, but not quite close enough yet. Phil Skills defends the inside line and will retain P3 for now. Katzlock and Lennon switching positions again. Terry's taking P9 from Sygate again. You love close battles on the track, no matter what the positions are. You fight for the positions with the people around you. And it's great when you have a full race battle like these two are, And Dan is now, his tyres have worn. It's unfortunate. Can the rest of the medium runners... As Dan does jump on some softs, so let's see. Can we get a fastest lap for Dan Morris? Does lead a couple of positions as well. He does not want to get caught up in this train. And he's down now to P11. And might even get stuck behind Katz. As Lennon retakes P6. Katz does get slightly ahead. So Dan will want to try and get past him as quick as possible. Be able to set this fastest lap. We'll have DRS down after turn 3 as Picnic retakes P1 and has taken it coming round turn 6 was that, as a brave overtake from him. Dan makes that easy enough overtake down to turn 4, and we'll love to see Dan get himself a fastest lap on those bragging rights as this front 5 is still going strong. We're on lap 31 out of 36. So 6 laps left to go, including this one. Currently Picnic leads the way. Can he get his first race win of the season? Amadi's closing in on the inside of turn 3 and makes that move. Picnic leaves him plenty of room. Lennon getting himself another penalty as Marty jumps in the pits as well. So these medium tyres, by the looks of Theo and Callum, unless they're still sticking with these front runners. But will they wear thin as Sygate getting himself past his teammate again up to P9. And Marty already with, I think, 3 fastest laps this season. We'll try and challenge Dan to that mantle. Katzlock retakes P6 now. Good points for the Williams teams potentially. Amadi with Picnic all over his gearbox. Phil Skills with him as well, and the Haas drivers. Are they managing their tyres well? Will they mount a challenge at the end of the race? We've got 5 laps to find out. All over yet for Dan. He's closing in very sharply on the drivers in front. Is he going to set himself the fastest lap? He's going to cross the line. Not quite, but can he set one with a bit of DRS? As Phils makes the move on Picnic up to P2. Picnic taking a look on the inside. But, didn't know if Phil was going to try and make the move on Armady either. So buys the time for now. He and Callum, 20 lap medium tyres. It's going to be a hard push to the end for these pairs to keep themselves on track. Theo's still in contention for a podium, even race win to be fair. He's still really close. I think Skills and Callum are the ones that will probably be dropping out, so it's just between these front 3 of D, Picnic and Theo, of what order they're going to be on the grid. Armady's leading the way. As Metal Mike now jumping in the pits onto some softs. Marty setting fastest middle sector. Can he get himself another fastest lap? Comes round. Final corner. Crosses the line. Can Marty do it? He only well does with a 1:05.7. Dan Morris makes the move. Gets himself up to P9 past Terry's. Has Sygate in his eyesight now. And Metal Mike set fastest lap. He's just put his best set of softs on and makes that overtake again. Sygate getting a little bit wide. I think. Oh, goes off track. I don't think he had a bit of contact with his teammate at all. But lets him pass, so respectful there from Sygate. Lap 34 out of 36, 3 laps to go. Armady's leading the way. Phil Skills P2, Picnic P3. And are we seeing a bit of DRS chicken here? As Phil tries to make a move, a little bit of concertina there with Picnic. Theo just slightly outbrings himself. Lennon making the move on caps lock again, getting himself up to P6. Does have those penalties, but it's where you finish on track. It's where it actually matters in regards to bragging rights, but the penalties is where your points come. You've got this front 5. I think Callum's potentially settled for P5 for now, not following as close as the others are. As we're starting lap 35 out of 36, and Phil Skills is pushing Mamadi round. Is he going to make the move? They're not quite close to the F yet, just don't make any contact. Terry's gets himself a track limit as well. As Picnic now makes the move on Phil Skills, gets himself up to P2. Is he close enough to make the move on Armady? He's on the inside of turn 3. Gets bunched a little bit. Phil Skills and Picnic both getting a launch off. Phil Skills back up to P2. Theo's now looking like he's going to make a move too. Side by side. Picnic has the inside line. Phil Skills might have better traction going off the exit. He does, and will have the inside of turn 6. Side by side. Inside of turn 7 for Phil Skills. Brilliant driving. Callum gets himself another track limit. So that's him settled for P5 now. There's no reason for him to push too much. And we're on the final lap of the race. Armady 8 tenths ahead. It's down for him to push. Picnic and Phil Skills need to work together with Theo to try and catch. As Phil Skills goes a bit wide. And that won't help his charge down to Armady. They've got this DRS and the one after turn 3. He defends well from Picnic. As we head down to turn 4, this is probably the major opportunity for position on track. Phil Skills defends well. Lennon gets up to P6, going up to turn 3. It's as you were, and I think Armadi's going to take the win unless Phil Skills or Picnic can make a really, really late lunge, but then don't think they're close enough to make the move. It's been a very, very, very brilliant charge as Capstock gets himself back up to P6. Picnic right on the gearbox of Phil Skills. Has a look on the inside of turn 9, but doesn't force it too much. As Lennon retakes P6, but Armadi takes the win. It was pushed to the wire. Picnic P2, Theo P3, Phil Skills P4 and Callum P5. Lennon will cross the line P6, but Capstock will take the position. But good to see him on track again. So Capstock takes P6, Lennon P7, Dan Morris retakes P7 with penalty, so Lennon P8. Sygate will cross the line, but I think, I don't know what penalties are like. Terry's P9, Sygate P10. Cats will come round and come home P11. And Marty, last of their finishers to cross the line. And gets the fastest lap to his P name. And what a race. It went down to the wire, that one. And the game gives Armadi driver of the day. And of course, discord vote on who it will go to. And he raises his fist. He doesn't do a cartwheel this time. And we'll drink that Stein of the lager and takes P1. So as I said, Armadi, top step, Picnic P2, great podium for him, keeps his form high. Theo getting himself a second podium of the season, P3. Again, what could have been for him. Phil Skills P4, Mr. P4. Callum P5, his penalties did not help him. Capstock P6, great battle with him and Lennon. Dan Morris P7, jumping onto those softs, trying to get fastest lap. Didn't come to a fruition. Lennon P8, Terry's P9, finishes ahead of his teammate. And coming from P12, Cats P11, Marty P12, who does get the fastest lap of 105.7. Metal Mike P13, and Katamise DNFing, crashing out on turn 1, unfortunately. What a race we had there. It's not the end of the action for you for this season. Next race is race 11, and that is in Canada. Oh, Canada! And it is the final special race of the season. Mandatory tyre wear, where the drivers have to use a set of softs, mediums, and hards throughout the dry race. They are a driver favourite, and we shall see how that will play out. My name is Alex. Thank you for joining us. Peace out.